Oh, Barrington, please tell me you haven't fallen for this three-card trick that's being played constantly before our eyes. I mean, what's that supposed to mean? Well, this party politics that's been going on for the election. Surely you've not been taken in by this total charade. That each of these parties are playing a part. What do you mean? Oh, for heaven's sake, your perception is rather shallow and blinkered, if you don't mind me saying. Well, I do mind you saying. What do you mean by that? Don't you think I'm up to date with current affairs and social events? Oh, I mean, you're taken in by what's happening. You are scenting the miasma of madness that is almost mesmerising, obviously. Well, fill me in then. What am I doing that's so wrong? Well, who did you vote for instance? Well, I voted for a change, obviously. Yes, who? Labour. The Labour Party. The Labour Group. The Labour Group is no different to the Conservative Group. They're exactly the same. So are the Greens, so are the Liberal Democrats, and so is the brand new, seemingly, Nigel Farage party. And I'm sorry to break the news, but there is no difference whatsoever. Farage, Keir Starmer, all the party political persuasions are all educated at the same private schools and are fed the same Veuve Clicquot champagne and eaten mess cake. They're exactly the same. Their mindsets, the menticidal cast inside their craniums is exactly the same. Oh yes, they have a Punch and Judy Prime Minister's Question Time where they're at each other's throats, but all that is staged. None of it is really original rhetoric of any sort whatsoever. It's all the same regurgitated rubbish that has been proofread over and over and over and put onto cue cards, ready for what you see. It is a stage setting. The whole of the Westminster stage play is something that has been going on now since 1557 or somewhere, since Cromwell threw them into the street and called them no better than whoremeister's thieves and vagabonds. Really? Yes, it was done 2 to 3 times by beefeaters. He threw them into the streets because this is what they are. They are looking primarily after everyone, of course, but also they are lining their pockets very, very, very heavily and deeply. You see, what we're seeing before our very eyes is the same thing that's been going on for centuries and centuries. Very, very rich corporates. The Labour Party, the Conservatives, the Farage Party is all a limited company. They're all corporate. Number 10 Downing Street is like an executive lounge from where, obviously, the more executives arrive and come and go, and they jet off to meet more executives of more corporate companies. It is like a massive corporate enterprise or world corporation. Now, they will tell us that they're going to build this, build that, and do this and do that. They're not going to do particularly anything of the sort. They will leave us, unfortunately, as minions and in our own little flea circus, biting and scratching and irritating each other and chewing the cud and condemnation and spitting it out, but it's going nowhere. And every Wednesday that we get PMQs and da-de-da, and they all look like little terriers toweling at each other. It's all staged for us. As we've seen, the Foreign Secretary, Chancellor of the Exchequer, the Prime Minister, after shaking hands with a feudal overlord called, King Charles, He then jetted off to see the President of the United States of America, who is a doddering old thing, doesn't know which planet he's on, and will be moved swiftly within probably a year into an old pensioners' home. He is not in charge either. The corporate gods, demigods, are the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. Oh, here we go with you. Here we go with the conspiracy theory again. No, I'm just telling you who runs the entire establishment. All the secret services, everything is run by 200 incredibly rich families. They built everything. You know, they came here before the Norman Conquest. They were involved in the Crusades. The Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, you know, the Rothschilds were running gold through Waterloo to pay everyone. They've paid for everything since then. Now, what we have here now is basically a communalization. What's that supposed to mean? Communism of a sort. If you look at corporate America, it's got so big that basically there are 3, maybe 4 families that own every single thing. What they give us to keep us quiet is stability, you know, with as little crime as possible. And it has become sort of Walmart has become a new form of communism. Everybody shops at Walmart. Everybody works at Walmart. The entire town is Walmart, which is owned by one person, similar to Amazon. It's all delivered to our door, and we can lay in our flotation tanks and watch TV all day if we want. They'd still pay us. They'd still keep us there. Rubbish. They're not. The communalization plan, the conglomerate, the federalization of America when it took place. 50 states, all federalized from warring tribes into one reasonably peaceful nation. I know what you're going to say, there's 11,000 murders every year. That is a drop in the ocean, and they will be curtailing that with, you know, with ultra super surveillance of 100 times worse than any Stasi surveillance that you've ever seen. You won't even be able to move without being watched with the new AI. That's what they're doing, basically. And it will work. What? And you want that for us? Well, of course we want it for us. You don't think we want us to be rioting and with blood-witted fools running the show, do you? Drug barons or something? Of course that's what we want. And everybody will be on a digital currency. You won't even get through the shop door without being recognised, with facial recognition. You won't even be able to move anyway. You won't even be able to go outside your front door without being arrested if there's anything. So this is what they have coming in. And the 50 countries are spreading from Turkey all throughout Europe into the Scandinavian regions. There are 50 countries. They will all be amalgamated into one supersized state of a federalized Europe. But that's what we've come out of. That's why we're out. We've exit Brexit. No. There's no possible chance of any of that happening. Our entire infrastructure, our entire last 50% of more, 75% of everything you see in this country is owned by the very, very rich families. And it will move to 100%. We've never moved out of Europe. The French own the water, they own above that, don't forget, they say the French companies own this. It's not the French companies, because the power stations, that supply us the power, 30% of it, are owned by the powerful conglomerates, the powerful families, the super rich multi-trillionaires, the foundations. It's all about foundations now, and you can't get away from it. I think you're talking absolute rot. Well, of course I'm not. It's no good listening to what the politicians tell you. They're told what to do. Once they shake hands with various presidents, they're handed a portfolio and a mandate which they sign to actually obey, or they don't get paid. And the World Monetary Organization won't pay us the next tranche of what we need unless we follow everything 100%. Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng showed us that. They got the silver bullet within the week by going against what was said from America. It wasn't by the powers that be. Okay, you can say Threadneedle Street, the old lady of Threadneedle Street told them what to do. But that old lady is the mother and the grandmother and the great-great-grandmother of the Rockefellers. Of the Rothschilds. They've owned it since Napoleon times. And of course they told whoever was in charge of the Conservative Party to shoot them, preferably on the green out, the Westminster Green outside, as a lesson for anyone else minded to rebel against the gods, the demagoguery. Oh, I just don't know what you're talking about. It's always got to be a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It's what's happening. Every single thing on this planet is limited, is corporate. The churches, the politicians, the parties that they're in, the crown itself is corporate. How do you think all the money is invested for the royal family? You don't think Prince Charles and King Charles and Prince William do it, do you? It's all done for them through banks and through endless amounts of corporations. And everyone is an executive and follow executive orders. Similar to America, an executive order that the president issues is like a papal bull from the church, the Catholic Church. But the Catholic Church is a corporation too, with directors, which are bishops, but they are directorships. And our Conservative parties all have directorships, which are extremely wealthy lords and ladies, but all absolutely candied up with money. Do you understand now what I'm saying? It's all about money. The main issue is money and the movement of it. The trillions that are moved every day throughout this world, we, as a UK PLC, get a slice of for staying in touch and obeying what's given. And the food that we are fed, of course, is that fodder, the financial fascist fodder. Oh, so money's now a fascist, is it? Is that what you're looking at? I'm not looking at it as the reason I use that, the financial fascist, okay, is because it cuts through everything. It's the most dictatorial, authoritarian type of fuel come essence. It is pure. It drives everything. It rolls over everything and everyone. It moves everything. It moves everyone. It is a mesmerizing monetarization, fascist. Right, I see. You don't, but you will. You've got to understand that this is how it must work. Otherwise it will end up in chaos and absolute mayhem and madness. The NIMBYs, the nihilists, the Napoleons of this world are gone. They've all been nudged and nudged and nudged and nudged and crushed into the same homogenized human hummus. You see, all the same colour, all the same creed, all the same multicultural, everything is all going to be squeezed into this khaki colour and khaki thoughts. Every single thing will spew out the same guff. There won't be 1 ounce of originality or wild maverick mania left. I see. So everything, yes, I mean, if you do get anyone that slightly steps out of line, of course they get a silver bullet. And they'll get a real bullet if need be. They can't have what you're thinking that they can have, that somebody's come in to change the entire world and world's forum. I see. And what do you suggest then? What do I suggest? I suggest that you get ready for a very boring, spoon-fed few decades. Because I can't see that there's going to be much difference than what we've been fed already. Keir Starmer, as someone recently said, would be better served as maybe a manager at Morrison's in Motherwell somewhere. He's ultra boring. He's got the badge, Sir, which means he's a bigger corporate man than everyone else, and he'll fall on his own sword, or he'll go into war, which is what he'll do in the next year. He will sign as all NATO members will sign to a pact which will eventually, if one is attacked of the 27 members, all of them move as one, which means we'll be in World War III within a year. Oh, okay. I've had enough. You're mad.